On a cold January afternoon, cold shooting dooms Arizona to a loss against the University of Central Florida. Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek talking some Arizona women's basketball. Thanks for being here. Today's episode sponsored by Old Pueblo Coin at Speedway in Columbus. If you have any gold or silver coins or currency that you want evaluated for free, on the spot appraisals all the time, local company, local people, stop on in and show them some love. They'll show you some love right back. All right. So I described this game as a must-win when we went into it because I have Central Florida in the bottom quadrant. Fun fact that the Big 12, now enhanced with 16 teams, has 4 quads of 4 that you can kind of break the conference up into. We'll talk more about that as we talk about the upcoming schedule. First, on to the game that was a very disappointing game for everyone after their big win last week. On Tuesday, they come back with a Central Florida team that I considered to be a must-win because Central Florida is, I think, legitimately lower than us as far as like actual performance is going to go for the year, and Arizona came out with what I think at the end of the day is we're just going to call a cold shooting night. Arizona went 1 for 13 from three-point land in the first half, and a lot of those shots were wide open shots. And fun fact, Michaela Purdue, our best shooter, was out for the game with a wrist injury. And had she played, had it turned out differently? Possibly, maybe. She's had some off nights too. But in general, our other two shooters that I consider shooters, and I could be wrong about this, but Cam Kitchen and Molly Ladwig don't play as much in general. And then after that, you've got Cornfield and Welch and Sugapong, all of whom are really talented players that can stroke the ball, but also once you get past that free throw line extended, their percentages, I think, start to drop for all three of those kids. But, let's give some credit to the University of Central Florida for bringing forward, I think, a very good game plan. We tried to defend them the same way that we defended BYU this last week, and they really executed much better than BYU did. And our biggest problem was Nugatu, number 35, who's only listed at 6'3", and if you were at the game, Francois is listed at 6'2". There's no way there's only an inch between those two kids. Like, Nugatu looked huge out there, and maybe she has another 10 inches of wingspan or something. She really gave Francois fits in the post, and we had a hard time defending her. She ends up going 9 for 14 from the field with 22 points. On our side, Francois, 5 of 8. She had a nice game. But we had so many turnovers when we tried to throw the ball to her. We tried to go over the top, and that was a hard pass to make. Nugatu was there. We tried to go down around the post, and those passes were just missing. They were just wide, kind of all night. It was just that kind of a night for Arizona, an off night. And you'd almost rather have an off night against like a Texas Tech where, you lose by a bunch, but it's a game that you weren't necessarily expected to win, if you will. I know that's not how any players are going to view it. Not how the coaches are going to view it, but just from the fans' perspective, you want to win the winnable games, and then you want to sneak up on a couple people. You never want to lose the winnable games. That's just like, So this is a game that saw Purdue from the bench cheering her brains out and looked like so frustrated to not be able to play. Also, incoming freshman for next year, Callie Hinder, with the team, 6'6" forward, excited to have her practicing with the team. I don't know if the term is red shirt or gray shirt when you come in halfway early. She graduated early from school. She's from Australia via Phoenix, coming down to the U of A. Excited, by the way, for the fans showing up because you know what? I think the fans really sell Tucson and Arizona as a place to come play basketball. Because go ahead and watch some of these games on ESPN Plus for the Big 12. You watch these teams that are way above us in the rankings, and they'll have 1,000 fans. And, our fans showed up. They supported the kids. Good work, Tucson. Way to show up. Let's see. So the scoring was, we jumped out to a little lead, and then after that, they came back. They had a 15-12 lead at the end of the first quarter. It felt like they were infinitely ahead of us by 5 points. Like, even when we scored, they were still up by 5. And it was just a slog. We had 22 points at the half. They had 25. We hold them to 58 for the game. We only get to 55 points. The scoring after that was the same, 10-10, 16-16, and 17-17 in the second, third, and fourth quarter. We'll talk a little bit more about the stats for the individual kids, and then I will tell you all of this middle-aged man's opinions about a few things. It's not that big a deal. I thought that overall the kids played hard on defense. We turned them over 23 times once again, which is an incredible number. Once again, we got out-rebounded 39-30. This is, both of these things are becoming patterns. One of them is a good pattern. I mean, we're turning over teams at a good rate, even teams that are, I think, much more athletic or better than us. They shoot 49%, which is not good. They only took 3 3-pointers. And to their credit, there's a certain amount of discipline that went into that. They really just wanted to pound the ball inside. Out of their 45 shots, Nugatu took 14 of them. Their leading scorer, Leah Harmon, number 42, 1 for 12. We really frustrated her. She's a guard, 0 for 3 from outside. She was the only one who shot a 3. It's a shame, when you win a game by a few points, you don't think about all the what-ifs that you could have lost, right? Like, you were 30 of 33 at the free throw line. That's amazing. The other team missed 10 free throws. You could have lost that game. You don't think of it that way. But in a loss, you're like, oh, man, a couple of those layups, right? A couple of these little things. But that's what the coaches preach to these kids. Every play matters. And so coach really rewards the hustle points when she sees people that are diving for balls. The rebounding thing is still a difficulty because lots of times we're running out a 6'2" forward at a time. She, near the end of the game, was playing a lot more of 2 forwards at a time. But even then, the people who end up getting rebounds lots of times are like Welch from guard position. Sukapong always seems to be in there. She's got a nose for the ball. She had 4 rebounds in 29 minutes. And we got to talk about who performed well in this game. Molly Ladwig came off the bench at the end when Sukapong fouled out and really kind of lit a fire, going 3 for 5 from the field and 2 from 2 from the free throw line with a quick 8 points. I think all in that fourth quarter, maybe in the last few minutes, to kind of keep us in the game. We had Cornfield going 4 from 18 from the field. She did had seven assists, only 2 turnovers, 7 steals. Really nice performance. I still think this team doesn't win with her shooting that much. I think that we still need to spread the ball around a lot better in general. We had 15 steals, 12 turnovers, 16 assists. We were still positive. We kept control of the ball pretty well, all things considered. We just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. MJ 1 for 6 from outside, 3 of 11 from the field. I would personally, this is where I get to a lot of opining, like to see Cam Kitchen in there maybe instead a little bit of her having 32 minutes, just because I think you get a little bit more offense. We needed it. And so some of it's just a shake you up kind of thing, right? Like the kids are executing the game plan pretty good, but when the offense isn't sparking, like let's get another kid in to see how they do. Achol didn't play. Once again, it felt like a game where, because of where coach wanted to do some trapping and switching, she didn't want Achol in there. But also the way that they were kind of dominating in the post, it felt like we could have had a big body in there. Blessing Adebanjo did get more minutes here. Only 8 minutes tallied, but she was in there a little bit more, getting some more minutes. Once again, in 8 minutes, getting 4 fouls. That seems to be her natural progression here of things as she goes through. Welch, 2 of 9 from the field, a little bit off for her also. And so same thing, like to me, for either Welch or Gerardo, if one of them is having an off night, switch them out with MJ for a while, for Cam Kitchen for a while. Give them a little bit more time in there, just for some more experience. So the kids are going to have a long week. They have a week off, but I guarantee you these practices are not going to be fun for the kids. We play coming up on Saturday the 17th at TCU. The rest of January is at home, Tuesday the 20th against Kansas. And then at Iowa State on the 24th and at ASU on the 28th. 3 of those teams combined have a total number of 4 losses, which is how many losses we have in the conference. TCU at 15-1 overall, Iowa State at 14-2, ASU at 16-1. Kansas is 11-5 that we get to play at home. That's going to be another must win for us. It's not that I don't believe we can beat some of these teams that are higher ranked than us. It's just that it's the likelihood is a little bit less, right? So This TCU team at 15-1 is an interesting team. They've got Olivia Miles scoring 19 points and 8 assists a game. She's kind of a stud out there. Kennedy Basham, you may remember, the big center from ASU. She's getting 2 blocks a game for them. She's not even one of their leading producers on that team. They have another forward down there who's doing well. A well put together team, runs well. 84 points a game, offensive mechanisms, 20 assists a game. They just go. A lot of that's the Olivia Miles effect. It'll be fascinating to see how we approach that game, what the game plan is. Their loss, by the way, is against that Utah team that we almost beat. So once again, who knows what'll happen? Iowa State, their loss is against a team, that Cincinnati team that I thought was like not a good team. So then Kansas at home, Iowa State on the road. That'll be interesting. That's a Fox Sports 1 thing at 2 p.m. on a Saturday. And then on the 20th at ASU at 6:30 ESPN Plus. Hopefully we'll see how that goes. Their ASU's split with the Utah schools. They lost to BYU, but they beat Utah, right? So just so you have a little bit of things going on, you can kind of compare what's happened, a little scoreboard watching. They had the hire of the year, in my opinion. No offense to the University of Arizona, of course, but Coach Molly Miller went from Grand Canyon University over to Arizona State University. Incredible hire. I think she's just super talented. They're 16-1. I still don't know how much of a paper tiger they are. It's kind of like Arizona's had some teams like this where we had a much better record than we were winning by small margins and just by the littlest things. But I think she's getting a lot out of that team because I don't know that team has a whole lot of extra talent beyond what some of these other teams that are higher up. So we will see. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the bracketing of the 4 teams, 4 quads, if you will. And originally, and this is not necessarily by a standard of ranking, right? By your actual standings, the standings go Texas Tech, Utah, ASU, TCU, Baylor, West Virginia, BYU, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Colorado, Kansas State, Kansas, Central Florida, Arizona, Cincinnati, Houston. That's the actual standings right now. My rankings a week ago, that first quad was Texas Tech, Iowa State, TCU, and Baylor. And I think I still have those as my top 4 teams one way or the other. We will see. My next quad was West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Utah, and ASU. Looks like West Virginia, Arizona State, Utah. I switched out ASU. Who did I switch out here? Oklahoma State with BYU. I dropped them in. I dropped Oklahoma State down to that 3rd quad. That middle of the conference is so hard to tell, how that'll shake out or who's better than who. It's on any given night, so to speak. Once you get in that middle, whatever teams 5 through 10, right? 5 through 12, whatever the numbers are here. So the 4th quad, I had BYU, Kansas, Colorado, and Arizona. And that Colorado team kind of kicked our butts, and I have them in the same quad as us. Currently, they're still in the same quad as us because I think those other teams are probably better. Colorado, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Arizona I still have in that 3rd quad. By rankings, we're not as good. I still have my bottom 4 the same as I did before, which is Central Florida, Kansas State, Cincinnati, and Houston. So doing it by quads, not sure how that's going to break down over time. I'm just looking at, okay, we kind of have an idea of what the bottom teams look like and what the top teams look like. The middle just gets super crazy mushy. There'll be plenty of scoreboard watching as we go along. But as always, thanks for being here. Hope to see you down at McHale on the 20th versus Kansas. Hopefully you'll be able to watch some of those games against TCU, Iowa State, and ASU. There is a bus trip up to ASU. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, but a lot of you, hopefully you can make it up to ASU and cheer the Cats on for what could be a really nice rivalry upset. All right, guys, as always, bear down.